When you're designing your cam, you first start on polar grid paper. And that'd be great if we're going to cut it out on paper, but I would rather you design it on the computer and cut it out with a laser, because that's going to be more accurate and I think it's a little bit more fun. So, how to make polar grid on Inventor. We're going to start with a 2D sketch. Click on our XY plane. Right click and choose circle, but before we go to make the circle, let's change this to a construction line. Now I put this as a 1-inch diameter, which would mean that the distance from here to here is a 1/2 inch, and depending on how you design on your polar grid, you're going to have different circles that have different dimensions in here. If you wish, you can just click the circle, and when you go to dimension it, you can right click and choose your dimension as a radius instead of a diameter, so you don't have to do all the mental math in your head. So if you know that you want the center out to be 0.375, you could just type that in and have a circle as the right size. Now the other thing is that we want the lines going around here. So let's click a line, start from the center, where I go past our most outward circle. In my case it's 1 inch. You might have a 2-inch, 2.5. I don't know how big of a box you guys are making or how big of cams you're making. That's kind of up to you. But I have one line that's going to go past my furthest circle. Go to circular pattern, select the line, and if you want it to be the same as your grid, we are going to say that the axis is here and you want 24 of these repeated. Okay. And that'll split up your circle such that if I wanted to go from point to point to another point over here, I could start to make a cam like this. And one thing I should note is that we don't want these to be construction lines anymore. Okay, so now you can start to design out the actual shape of your cam. And the nice thing about having all of these construction lines is when we finally do go to create it, they will not interfere with our extrusion at all. Let me turn the construction line thing off. As long as this is depressed, it's going to continue to make construction lines every single time. So to switch that, just go ahead and uncheck it. The other thing is, if you want to turn a line into a construction line, you can select it by left clicking, right click, and check construction, or do the same thing to make it back into an object line. Finish your sketch, extrude, and as I said, the construction lines do not interfere with everything else. You can come back to make this an 1/8 inch thick, and you can have your custom cam design.